and brothers, I have a dream today.
On January 15, 1929, a son was born to the Reverend and Mrs. Martin Luther King Sr. in the upstairs bedroom of 501 Auburn Avenue in Atlanta, Georgia.
This son, Martin Luther King Jr., grew up with a lovely mother, father. Martin entered Morehouse College at age 15, skipping his 9th and 12th high school grades without formally graduating. In 1948, he graduated from Morehouse College with a Bachelor of Arts degree in sociology.
In 1953, at age 24, King became pastor of Dexter Avenue Baptist Church in Montgomery, Alabama.
Around the same time, the civil rights movement was taking place. Civil rights can refer to protection against public and/or private sector discrimination.
King believed in taking non-violent actions toward promoting civil rights. He participated in the Montgomery bus boycotts, which were in response to the arrest of Rosa Parks. The bus boycott lasted 381 days. The situation became so tense that King's house was bombed.
King was arrested during this campaign, which ended with the United States Supreme Court decision outlawing racial segregation on all public transport.
King also participated in marches. One of his most famous was the March on Washington, in which 250,000 people attended. There, Martin gave his "I Have a Dream" speech. It is regarded as one of the finest speeches in American history.
When we allow freedom to ring, when we let it ring from every village and every hamlet, from every state and every city, we will be able to speed up that day when all of God's children, black men and white men, Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics, will be able to join hands and sing in the words of the old Negro spiritual, free at last, free at last. Thank God Almighty, we are free at last.
At 6:01 p.m. on April 4, 1968, a shot rang out. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who had been standing on the balcony of his room at the Lorraine Motel in Memphis, now lay sprawled on the floor. A great man who had spent 13 years of his life dedicating himself to nonviolent protest has been felled by a sniper bullet.
But his legend still lives on today. Observe as we ask people what their opinions are of Martin Luther King Jr.'s legacy.
Oh, Dr. King, in all of the work that he did in the 50s and the 60s, very proactive and very selfless, meaning the things that he did, he wasn't doing for himself. Matter of fact, he put himself in danger many times, went to jail. I think he showed courage in his convictions, and by so doing, he led a whole portion of America to understand what it was to stand up for what is right and to work for the civil rights of all of Americans, and especially for the African Americans that he was championing.
Well, without Martin Luther King Jr., I probably wouldn't have all the opportunities I have right now to go to school with people of different races and to get along with them and to enjoy the same opportunities they do, to get an education, to go all the places they go and do all the things they get to do.
My favorite thing about Martin Luther King was his "I Have a Dream" speech, because if I had been there, it would have touched me so much, because I hear it today. It just means so much to me. It really does.
Martin Luther King was a great man in our history because he was passive-aggressive, and he was for all humankind, not just one race or the other, but for all humankind. He was one man that made a big difference in our history as far as equal rights for all. As far as our Constitution goes, that's what it stands for, equality for all.
The most admirable quality in Martin Luther King Jr., in my opinion, was the fact that he had a goal, he went for it, he persevered no matter what the obstacle.
Martin Luther King, he was more than a man. He understood what needed to be done. He worked to do it all on his own, like even against all the adversity and the tribulations, trials he had to go through. He worked real hard, and that's how I strive to be. I want to be just like him. I want to make a difference. I want to make a change. Like he was more than a man. He was a saint. And like to honor him today, that means something personally to me. It's an accomplishment to my people, to everybody's people.
But we refuse to believe that the Bank of Justice is bankrupt. We refuse to believe that there are insufficient funds.